Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we're going to do the comparison from Xbox Series X and S and PlayStation 5 after 1 year. Which one's better? Which one's got more hype? Which one is actually worth picking up over the other one? So as you can see, I have both consoles. I have had my Xbox since day one. I got my PlayStation 5 a couple months after launch. So first of all, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow, and we are definitely on our way up. So, let's get into this, okay? Xbox. Let's take Xbox first, okay? Xbox was the first console we saw. They showed it off at the Game Awards. And then it launched that very next year in November. So, we already knew more about the Xbox Series X. We saw what it looked like, and then we started to hear, stuff like, well, we're going to have to push Halo back. And, none of the games that launch on the Xbox Series X are going to be exclusive to that console family. So they're going to be cross-generation. We heard all the features that were going to enhance the games, all the tools that were going to be better, how the system is full of RDNA2, it's full RDNA2, and it is going to be able to do ray tracing. It's going to be able to do 120 hertz game, 120 FPS, as well as 4K and 60 FPS. Well, it's going to have VRR support and just tons of other features that, for the most part, we've seen almost every single one of those, except for the direct ML learning, Microsoft, upscaling that's supposed to be like DLSS. We haven't seen. I don't know if we've seen the mesh shaders or not. I don't know if they're actually in Forza Horizon 5. Nobody said anything about that. So apparently, there's still some stuff left on the bench. There's still some stuff that we haven't even seen yet. We're still expecting our first, our Halo Infinite, next month on December 8th. So essentially, Xbox has come out, and as far as I'm concerned, they've fulfilled everything they said they were going to do pretty well. Like they told us we weren't going to have any exclusive games for the first year. Yeah, that's true. That's definitely the case. They were pretty slow getting stuff out to us. They have essentially, they've delivered, experiences. So Game Pass is their biggest thing this year for sure. Game Pass started off kind of slow this year, but it has consistently delivered value after value after value and experiences that, gosh, man, they've delivered so much that PlayStation fanboys are literally saying Xbox players don't buy games anymore. Yeah, you can't make this up. They have continued, they've proceeded to really talk down about, like just the success of Forza Horizon 5 is freaking mind-blowing. But so we're going to get a little bit more into that in a minute. So now let's talk about the PlayStation experience, the PlayStation 5. This is where things get completely interesting, and I think it looks really bad on PlayStation and the brand for the way that they rolled this out. They came out in that September, before the console launched, and they showed us all these amazing games, all these amazing experiences, and told us that they were launch window and that they were coming to PlayStation 5, and they believe in generations, and that they were raising the price of these games, and they were going to let the games speak for themselves. I feel like they've done so much damage to the brand, but at the same time, people are so hyped for the PlayStation 5, and I don't understand, why. Why are they hyped for it? Why is there such a high level of hype for it? And that's because the PlayStation 4 generation was freaking amazing for them. the PlayStation first party studios we're knocking it out of the park left and right with the PlayStation 4. So yeah, that excitement carried a lot of people forward. It definitely did. I was pretty hyped when they started showing off all the stuff that was going to be coming to PlayStation 5. And then as time went on, I started to really realize, like, hey man, this really isn't going to be all it's cracked out to be. This is a pretty basic upgraded system, I mean, it's pretty in line with like the power gains and all of that stuff, the new SSD and the new controller, stuff like that. But I mean, they're pretty basic upgrades all on their own. They're not like earth shattering by any means. Like it's definitely a major step up from the PlayStation 4 Pro. But I don't know if it's as major of a step up from the Xbox One X. So let's get into this. Okay, PlayStation, has consistently told us, hey guys, we believe in generations. We believe in generations. You're going to have so many things to play on your PlayStation 5 as quick as we can get them out the door. They have since pushed every major first-party title to next year. Horizon Forbidden West, Gran Turismo 7, and God of War. Everything they've delivered this year is pretty mediocre at best. Pretty mediocre or niche at best. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart is one hell of a showcase for your PlayStation 5. One hell of a tech demo. And that's the way I look at it, because it is a very pretty tech demo. And that's basically it. It's anywhere from... I spent 10 hours on it. But it's anywhere from a 6 to a 12-hour game. A 12-hour experience for $70. And it looks really pretty. It's got ray tracing and fast loading, whatever. Everything they said, they definitely delivered, the 4K visuals with the ray tracing, with the fast loading. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Demon Souls was a remake of a PlayStation 3 game. While it does look amazing at 4K 30 frames per second, the 1440p 60 frames a second performance mode definitely leaves someone like me wanting. Like I was left wanting. I wanted to be able to experience that game at 4K at 60 frames a second. That did not happen. Right then and there, that was the first game I put in my PlayStation 5, and I knew right then and there that I was like, wow, man, this is not going to be the experience that I was hoping that it would be. So Miles Morales, amazing game. I think that is honestly the best-selling first-party game since the new consoles have launched, and there's 120 million people with PlayStation 4s out there that this game does play on. So yeah, that's definitely kind of good, but at the same time not really that great. I mean, if only 6 million people have bought this game out of 133 million PlayStation 5 consoles out there, man, I don't know what to say about that. It just leads you to believe that, man, this stuff is mediocre at best. Like it really is. Like like nothing has really been earth-shattering to the point where it's like, wow, man, I got to have a PlayStation 5. And a lot of the cross-gen games, while they've been great, I've played the majority of those on my Xbox Series X. So if you take all of that into account, like the PlayStation, believing in generations, and then raising the price for these games, not one of those games are worth $70. Demon Souls 3, it was a remake of a third game. It should have been a $60 title, $50, $50-$60. That's usually what most people are doing with remakes and stuff. They're charging less money. Well, no, they're charging the $60 on a lot of them. So yeah, $60 would have been fine. They've charged us $10 freaking for every single upgrade they've given us. Every single upgrade. Except for Spider-Man. Spider-Man was actually $20. You had to spend $20 to get those upgrades for that Spider-Man game. So yeah, that left a bad taste in my mouth. And this is all PlayStation's doing. This has nothing to do with me. I'm a consumer. I'm giving you my honest opinion on how I feel like the PlayStation 5 stacks up against the Xbox Series X and how the Xbox Series X stacks up against the PlayStation 5. Xbox has delivered every single thing they said. Like my expectations for Xbox have been pretty met for the most part. Like literally, I don't have any regrets of the Xbox. I feel like everything's been pretty met. I feel like they tempered the expectations rather well for the Xbox. PlayStation, they just blew the hype right out the door. Blew the hype right off the wheels and have failed to literally deliver on almost all of it. On almost all of it. And that's not me being mean to PlayStation or starting some console war. Like seriously, man, I feel like they have not delivered on really anything that they said they could do. The only real banger, the only real good game that released that was designed for PlayStation 5 was Deathloop. I mean, Ratchet and Clank was good. It was fine for 6 hours, but Deathloop was pretty freaking good. And like let's be real, that's now an Xbox first party studio. Like I get that they had the deal and everything before they were bought. Yeah, kudos to them. I'm happy for PlayStation being able to do its due diligence and get that one game. But Xbox got the whole freaking company. So yeah, Deathloop will be coming to your Xbox, and it is going to run better, look better, and play better on your Xbox in 9 months or in 10 months now. I think it's like 10 months now. Or whatever. So everything else they delivered has basically been upgrades to games we already got. And they charged us $10 for each of those upgrades. Whereas Xbox has been pretty freaking good about delivering free updates, free content for these experiences. And dude, FPS boost, like seriously, you get a lot of games FPS boost on your Xbox Series X and S. And that's just a system level feature, you know, auto HDR that actually is converted to Dolby Vision now. Xbox is just knocking it out of the park. Honestly, my hype levels for Xbox are extremely high. Dolby Vision support. Wow, dude. Wow. I get to take advantage of my TV that has Dolby Vision. That's freaking cool. And it looks great on a lot of games. It really does fix a lot of the color, a lot of the brightness levels, a lot of the contrast things that HDR10 just was not giving me. Even on my OLED, I feel like I'm getting a much better picture quality from the Dolby Vision. I got VRR support. Another great thing my TV has. I get VRR. So if say something like Tales of Arise comes out, and it has two modes, you know, a performance mode and then a quality mode that has an unlocked frame rate. Guess what, man? I get to play that game and it's going to look pretty smooth the whole time because of that VRR. That's great. I love that. It's going to make it so the game, it doesn't have any perceivable drops in frame rate, which is great, which is amazing. So now I get to play that game, Tales of Arise, at a native 4K with what appears to be a stable frame rate. Like you cannot do that on a PlayStation 5, and it shows it. Digital Foundry even finally made a video showing you the difference between the two games. Like it has finally happened. You know, the PlayStation 5 is a decent system, but it is not going to keep up with the Xbox Series X as we start to move into the next gen games. It is going to start to fall behind, and that there makes me feel like, wow, man, I paid the same amount of money for both of these consoles. I don't get nowhere near as many features on my PlayStation as my Xbox, and that sucks because I mean some of this stuff is pretty good. Like it changes the game because if you think about it, we're console gamers. We've always had crappy frame rates. We've always had whatever the console can give us. But now Microsoft is bringing these features that actually enhance and make the gameplay better because they know that, hey man, like not all games are going to run that great. There's some of them are going to, you know, have issues. The fact that we get to play without any like screen tearing and stuff like that because we got VRR support on our Xbox, that's freaking awesome. That is awesome. I'm thankful for Microsoft for doing that. And now I get to play these games at a higher resolution with what appears to be a stable frame rate. That's a good thing. The PlayStation 5, it does do things well. Like I do like the SSD, the SSD being able to buy an off the shelf SSD and put it in there like that. That was pretty cool. Usually I could get bigger amounts or bigger bigger storage capacity right off the shelf. Whereas on the Xbox, I'm finally going to get a 2 terabyte card next month, which is awesome. Like now I'm happy with the Xbox. You know, one of those 2 terabyte cards, maybe even 2 of those, and I'll probably be set, because I do buy all my games on the Xbox now, most of them. I will probably only be buying my exclusives on the PlayStation from now on, and you know that's going to leave us till February. And now let's talk about the end of the year. Like the PlayStation 5 has had a pretty decent lineup throughout the year. Like I give it that. Like it has delivered content. I mean, we've had Returnal, which, you know, I mean, it wasn't really necessarily a $70 game. Like, I don't believe that. I don't believe Ratchet and Clank was. I don't believe anything that's launched on the PlayStation 5 has demanded a $70 price tag. So that's one thing that I'm like, wow, man. Wow, guys, like, what the heck? Like, what is this? And then, I mean, because these games are single player, one and done games, $70? No, that's not the case. Battlefield. I did just pay $100 for Battlefield and Forza Horizon 5. Why? I'm going to get hundreds of hours out of both of those games, possibly. Possibly, easily. I will definitely get my money's worth out of Forza Horizon 5. Battlefield, maybe. It just depends on how much I play it after Halo comes out. So right there, I'm already getting a better value out of games that are not Sony first-party games. For them to up the price and then allow companies like EA and Activision and all these other companies to raise their prices, that just doesn't seem like it should have happened in this generation. I don't think that we should be getting charged more just for prettier graphics. I mean, they wouldn't do this on the PC, and I guarantee every game that launches on the PlayStation is going to be $70 on PlayStation and $59.99 on the PC, because the PC guys aren't going to pay more than that. And their pricing models so far have already proven that. I mean, God of War's launching for $50. So PlayStation has basically backpedaled on everything. They say they believe in generations, but now they're putting everything on PlayStation 4 for the whole year of 2022. So that means the next PlayStation 5 first-party exclusive that you're going to get is going to be in 2023. You know, aside from like Forspoken and other third-party games that they've paid money to keep them off of other systems. Like, they're definitely going to have those as well, but you know, who knows which ones are going to be coming out. I think both Xbox and PlayStation are going to have a really good 2022. It's going to be great. So we'll definitely be playing a lot of games in 2022 and forward. But the fact of the matter is I do believe Xbox to be the better system right now, to be the better value for your money, to be if you want like a system full of features, get an Xbox. I mean, PlayStation 5 is so slow. They don't have VRR, Dolby Vision, just a lot of the basic functions that you get on your Xbox, you know, like more enhanced backward compatibility with the FPS boost and everything else. Xbox is probably your better bang for your buck. And if you really, really have to have your PlayStation 5, I still recommend getting an Xbox Series S and a Game Pass subscription so that you can still enjoy those first-party games from Xbox, because after seeing Forza Horizon 5 and, you know, Flight Simulator and Psychonauts 2 and, you know, all these other games that Microsoft has delivered, because people are like, oh, yeah, look at the Sony games. Microsoft has delivered just as many, if not more, games on Game Pass and on the Xbox consoles as the PlayStation 5 has delivered. There has been no shortage of games. There really hasn't. Like, everything on the Xbox has launched has been super diverse. There's so much to play on the Xbox that people are just, they're not buying. Some people aren't buying new games because they don't have to. They have way too many things on Game Pass to play. And that's not a bad thing. It's not. I mean, they're paying their subscription. They're playing their games. It's fine. Microsoft is making money. You don't have to worry about Microsoft's pockets. They're making money. I would be more worried about PlayStation's pockets, because they're PlayStation fans that are saying that, oh yeah, we love PlayStation, but they don't buy their games, especially not at $70. I do. I buy them because I am a fan, and I do. I like to try new experiences, and I do not feel like I've gotten my money's worth for any PlayStation first-party game that is launched in this launch year. So, Yeah, so my opinion about the PlayStation 5 has started off kind of negative. I know it will get better. I know that they are going to bring games that are must plays. Like I know that. That's why I have a PlayStation. Like I get that. As far as this first year, yes, Xbox definitely knocks it out of the freaking park. Like they're doing it. Halo is going to launch next month, and that is going to be like that's Xbox's biggest game in you know, within that first year or whatever, you know, that launch, you know, right after that, you know, within, you know, no, it's not within a year because it's obviously a month later. Obviously, clearly, it's so a month after the first year. PlayStation has not delivered one of their biggest freaking hits yet. The whole freaking time the PlayStation's been out, not one game has been a solid, whoa, that's a banger. No, man, like they gave us a remake, DLC, you know, with Miles Morales, and that's the way I have to look at that. That is a DLC, man. That is a 5-hour game. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I guess you can consider that a DLC too, because that's like well, no, it's not a DLC, but it is a full game. But you see where I'm going with this? Like, what game has PlayStation launched that's one of their main things, man? Like Gran Turismo should have been a launch title, literally should have been a launch title. That's a system seller. Should have been with the system, Gran Turismo. But they held it back so they could sell it on the PlayStation 4 too. They had to backport it so they could sell it on the PlayStation 4 at the same time so that they can make their money on that return. That's what I'm saying. Like, PlayStation has completely cheated us out of our first year experience on the PlayStation 5, and nobody's even said anything about it. Nobody says anything about it. They're all just like, "Oh yeah, we love our PlayStation." Come on, guys, get serious, man. This really matters because they haven't delivered any of those games that are worth $70. They've literally sold us all this other stuff that's not worth $70. So I don't know. Like, I do not feel like the PlayStation 5 has delivered on the promises from the thing. They said, we'll let the games speak for themselves. Dude, those are not $70 games. Not freaking one of them. So I don't know what they're trying to pull. They've charged us for every single upgrade they've given us for these games. That's ridiculous. To be able to fill the Rumble, literally to be able to fill the Rumble in your PlayStation 5 controller, they charged you $10 for that. $10 for that so you could fill the Rumble. That's pretty ridiculous. And a little bit of boosted, you know, checkerboard rendering back up to, you know, up to a 4K. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know why people would defend this. I love my PlayStation. I love my PlayStation first party games. I'll always have a PlayStation as long as PlayStation games come exclusively to the PlayStation. But if they go to the PC, then I don't know if I'd have to buy their consoles no more. You know what I mean? But yeah, as it sits right now, yes, I am more than satisfied with the first year of Xbox. More than satisfied. They delivered everything that I expected them to deliver. PlayStation 5? No. It was up till just a couple months ago that we were still expecting Horizon Forbidden West this year. That was one of the games that I was like, yes, I have to have my PlayStation 5 so I can play that. And that's completely honest. I've bought everything else in between. I've bought, you know, Guilty Gear Strive. I've bought, you know, Sackboy. I bought every single other game on the PlayStation 5. Like, I've bought them. I've done my part. I've bought these games. I've tried to enjoy these experiences. Like, I've bought them. I bought Kena Bridge of Spirits. I bought all of these games. I've paid for them. I've paid my price to play these experiences, just like everybody else has. And I don't feel like PlayStation has delivered what they said that they were going to deliver when they announced the PlayStation 5. When they came out and they showed us that and all the games and everything else that was going to come with that, I don't feel like they've delivered on that. I don't feel like that has been delivered on. And according to PlayStation, it's probably going to be another year before they deliver on that. So with Xbox, they've given me everything that I've received everything that I feel like they said what I would have. I've gotten really, really good third-party games. 90% of the time they run better on Xbox, so that's great. There are the few that come out completely polished on PlayStation and then falter on the Xbox until they get patched, and then they usually run better or look better or something. So for the most part, I've been happy with that. Like, yeah, some of that stuff's been like a minor inconvenience, but at the end of the day, it does get fixed, and that's fine. So, but I've gotten way more from Xbox than I even really thought they were going to be able to deliver. You know, I mean, VRR, Dolby Vision, everything all in that first year. And I was able to buy storage for my Xbox day one. Like, I was able to do that. PlayStation 5, it took them like 8 months to be able to finally get that into our hands. So, yeah, 8, 9, 10, almost 10 months to be able to finally get that into our hands. So, yeah, if you like this content and you want to see more of it, hit that like and subscribe, and Xbox wins this year. So, yeah, I'll see you in the next one.